concert was probably one of the best I've ever seen. It sounded absolutely perfect, just like seeing the Eagles or something, you know. And it was very, very good, the concert itself. And I was never really much of a Stones fan. I just kind of went for the historical value, you know. I wanted to see them before they were done.
Yeah, I get it. I hear you.
You feeling better about this, John?
No, I'm not feeling better about this at all. Mike, thank you for rubbing it in. I'm glad that you had a good experience. Here's someone else. Did you go see the Stones?
I did see the Stones, and I can't even begin to tell you how good they were. If you've never seen them before,
I've never seen
you
them.
have to go.
But is there another
They're
chance to see them?
years old. Yeah, I was at SoFi.
No. When can I see them again? Or is this the We Died tour? Is there another opportunity, or is it over?
I don't know that, man. I'm sorry. I can just tell you that for 80 years old, they blew the roof off SoFi Stadium.
All right. Tim in Simi Valley, you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Was it any good?
It was really good. I saw the Stones actually at SoFi for free because I won the tickets on KLOS.
All right.
Oh, see, John?
So
Yeah.
hang on. Even better. Yeah. Hey, Otto,
Yeah.
Keith.
Did you ask? You've got the connections.
They invite me to Disney crap,
Oh.
and they didn't give me the
'cause your wife-
tickets to the Stones.
Your wife loves
KLOS had tickets to the Stones.
No, they did.
And they didn't ask me if I wanted. Hey, John, did you know all these people are fixing to die, and this is their last time you'll ever see them for the rest of your life? And we do appreciate you being part of this station for the past 5 years and entertaining the audience on Saturdays. We thought it'd be a great idea for you to come with the station crew and go to the Stones as your birthday present.
That would have been thoughtful. Really thoughtful.
Been thoughtful.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, Otto sent me a text last week. Hey, I'm monitoring the show, and it sounds like you're echoing a little bit. Otto owns KLOS.
I got it.
So let me Otto turn your reverb up, bud.
Uh-oh.
Thanks for the effing tickets, homeboy. I hope it's echoing on that. Jesus Christ.
Best
I
show
get no respect anywhere.
That's
Uncle
so,
Blake.
That's so not true.
You know that son of a bitch
Here we
was driving a
go.
tractor, Uncle Blake, down. It cost me $2,500. He was driving this excavator, and he had the door open because he checked the oil before he starts it, which is the only smart thing he does.
Right.
But he left the hatch open, and the hatch caught on a tree limb and ripped it off. And he lied. He lied and said it wasn't him.
It wasn't me.
It was him.
It wasn't me.
It cost $2,500 when I checked that thing back into the equipment rental place to fix. That son of a bitch, I never want to see him for the rest of my life. I'm leaving.
The John Clay Wolf.
You have the home runs?
There's a rocket. Alex Bregman has teed off over the Crawford boxes. A home run for Bregman. He remains red hot. And the Astros have a 2-0 lead on Bregman's 13th home run. Singleton lines one out to right. This is way back. Long gone into the second deck. As John Singleton cracks a 2-run homer, the Astros have opened up a 4-0 lead.
Damn right. Astros putting a whooping on the Dodgers last night, 5-0, thanks to, as you heard from Apple TV, we had Heidi Watney, who was the sideline reporter of the Killer Bees, if you want to check out that podcast on our podcast page. But Astros 5-0 thanks to a John Singleton homer. Alex Bregman went yard, and, of course, Framber Valdez shoved 6 1/3. No runs allowed, 10 strikeouts. Very vintage other than maybe, I guess the vintage Frommer would include going 7 innings, a very vintage Frommer outing, which I will certainly not complain about that he only went 6 1/3. But welcome into the bullpen, ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5. I am Brian McDonald. You can find me on X at Sack by BMax. Of course, Sean Mapes with me as always. You can find him on X at Sean A. Mapes, and Clutch City Cam on Twitter. Cam Smith back with us as well, and as well as John Bellmer behind the glass. You can find him on Twitter at Third Coast Johnny. If you want to join in the conversation, please give us a call or a text on the HRMP listener line at 713-780-3776. I'm sure a lot of Astros fans have some hate maybe they want to pass along for the Dodgers, because look, I don't think the rivalry really exists for the players on the field, because there's so few players left between these two teams from 2017. For the Dodgers, I think it's just Clayton Kershaw, who's not even pitching in this series. And then for the Astros, among active players, because Verlander and McCullers aren't on the field, it's just Bregman and Altuve. So I don't know if the rivalry really exists for the players, because it's been so long, so many players have turned over, and frankly, they play so infrequently. But I think that had to feel good for Astros fans, especially online, because the Dodgers hate continues in the mean streets of Twitter.
Yeah, that's mainly where the rivalry is. Like like you said, the actual guys on the field for the Dodgers, I don't know. I can't really get worked up.
I mean, I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's just Kershaw. I think that's all that's left.
I'm looking at they have Kike Hernandez still.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
And I think that's the only
Former
guy.
Astro.
Was Will Smith on the
No, he wasn't up by then.
Yeah, I think it was still Grandal. But yeah, so there really isn't that. I mean, they have a 2017 Astro and Teoscar Hernandez in the middle of their lineup.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that the beef is only really still alive on the X streets.
Yeah.
And so that's really the best part of the win, other than you get to extend your lead against the Rangers.
The Rangers, yeah. The Rangers lose, and you need, obviously this is not to state the most obvious thing of all time. You need wins, Sean. I don't know if you're aware of that, but with I know it's you like that breaking news, Cam. Yeah. But with the Mariners getting to face the White Sox, and I think they won like 10-0 last night, so you assume they're going to sweep them unless they just completely fall apart.
You have to mark it down.
You have to mark it as a possibility that the Mariners could just completely Mariner and lose the series to the White Sox. But assuming they go ahead and finish business and sweep the Mariners, I mean, you at least got to win this series against the Dodgers so that the Mariners can't pass you in the standings. Still 1 game up right now. But let's talk about some of these performances. Alex Bregman and John Singleton, like you heard in the intro there, both with home runs. Bregman continues. I mean, we talked a ton about his slow start, which he's always been a slow starter, but this year was even more exaggerated than in years past. But he's really been on a tear since about mid-May, and I think he's getting to the point where, I mean, the Astros aren't going to offer him anything ridiculous. We know they're not a team that goes, obviously not even up to $200 million. They're not going to go 6 years. I don't think Bregman could even get that, but I think he's starting to move himself into the territory where they're at least going to try to be competitive with their offer to him.
Really?
I do. Like, I guess it depends on what they offer him. Like if he gets offered, or if he's willing to accept like a Matt Chapman type deal, which I think was 3 years, $54 million. I think they would be in on that. So $17 million a year. I think I could see them even going to maybe like 4 years up to, I don't know, 80 to 90 million. I could even see that, but it's not going to be more than 4 years with them.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see it crossing the $100 million threshold, which he hit the first time.
Yeah.
But I don't, what the reason I say competitive is I don't think that offer that's over 100 million, that's over 6 years, is going to be there for him anyway. So even with the resurgence in the second half. So I think we've all kind of dismissed the idea that, hey, Alex Bregman's gone. Doesn't matter. Maybe you bring in Paredes because he can move over to third base after the season.
Yep.
But I'm starting to see like there might be a path there for Bregman to return.
Yeah, it is a situation where if he keeps hitting like the way he's been hitting, like you said, since June, there's probably going to be bigger offers there. I guess that's where I was thinking. I was thinking that the market might be a little bit hotter.
How big do you think the market would get? I can't see it going past 5 years, 100 million.
I definitely could.
I could see 125, 5 years.
Okay, yeah, I'd probably be out at that point.
Yeah, and so that's of course if he keeps playing the way he's been playing. There is an opportunity for him to drive the
Sure.
market up.
Yeah, we're not even August. Yeah, we're not even August yet.
So that's really what it is. But like you said, you mentioned Matt Chapman. Would have thought he got more too. So
Yeah,
obviously,
and obviously the common
market is what
denominator
it
there
is.
is the Scott Boras clients. We've seen this with a lot of the Scott Boras clients, Jordan Montgomery and Blake Snell, Matt Chapman, obviously Alex Bregman. So I think there might be an opportunity there. But let's go over to Framber Valdez, who really I think we spent some part of the last few months talking about how up and down he is, and I had an epiphany the other day that we're really just talking about June. Like when you look at, I believe it was June, it was either June or May. But when you look at his season, like his month by month ERAs are really good, except for just the 1 month. So, and he continued with another great outing against a good offense with the Dodgers. Framber now has won his 4th straight decision. I believe the Astros have won 6 straight of his starts, and he's allowed 3 runs or fewer in 6 of his last 7 starts. I don't want to say Framber is back, but I'm starting to get Framber's back vibes.
I mean, I'm okay if you were to say that if Framber is back.
Cam will allow it.
Thank you, Cam.
Yeah,
Thank you for giving me permission there.
Absolutely, I'm so
You're
glad
gonna walk out on the ledge. Like I feel a little uneasy stepping out on the ledge of really backing the guy that can get rattled by a ground ball to him. I feel uneasy about that, but I'm starting to get to the point with like I pointed out, they won 6 straight of his starts, 4 straight decision with a win. 3 runs or fewer in 6 of his last 7 starts. Dominates a good offensive lineup last night with the Dodgers. I'm starting to lean towards Framber's back.
Well, and the thing too is like, besides those 7 or those 6 wins in a row, the previous 2 out of 3 starts he had, I think he got losses, but they were still quality starts. So like you're talking about 9 or 10 games in a row where he's been the Framber that we expected. So that's why I'm okay with us saying I think he's back. But I feel like this team is like a vibe team. It's like when everybody's rolling,
Framber's definitely vibes.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's a more vibe dependent player in Major League Baseball than Framber Valdez.
I was gonna say I think
Framber Valdez is nothing but vibes.
He's probably the player. I would have to really think about it.
We need a vibes ranking.
The player most where it all just depends on like the mental side of his game. Where I don't think there's any other, like every other player, you kind of take it for granted. That's like, yeah, he'll be ready and mentally prepared to take the
Framber,
to take the ball. And Framber, it's like we don't spend as much time talking about anyone's brain as much as we talk about Framber's.
No, especially not in Houston. So I mean, I we'll see what happens going forward if he continues it. But I think he could be playing. I mean, especially when you tack on what's happening with Verlander. Let's get into that. But when you tackle what's happening to Verlander, if the Astros make the playoffs, I don't think there's any doubt right now Framber would be your ace going into your game 1 starter going into the postseason. So speaking of Verlander, I mean, obviously the Astros have a lot of high profile guys in the training room right now. Not speaking of vibes, not a lot of good vibes coming out of those training rooms.
No.
Luis Garcia apparently threw a 35 pitch bullpen on Friday. Cool. But
sick.
I mean, sick. Congrats, dog. But he's still got to be a month away from coming back at least. And I mean, he's coming off of Tommy John, so who knows what to even expect when he does come back. Justin Verlander, who I love that they put in quotes, his injury is neck discomfort, which is total Astros. They found a way to get discomfort in. He apparently is going to be scheduled to throw a bullpen today, Joe Espada said. But again, we're talking about bullpen sessions. I mean, we remember from what became like an extended spring training from Justin Verlander in March into April before he eventually made his debut this season. Like every week is like, well, I think if I feel good, maybe next time out I'm going to face live batters. So Verlander hasn't even progressed to that point. So we're still probably a month away from him. And then maybe the most troubling, because we thought it was just like a 3 or 4 day, shin bruise, is Kyle Tucker. He's still not playing because of the right shin contusion. At least they're now calling it a contusion. But he continued to do outfield drills on Friday. And according to Joe Espada, he, quote, is improving, but not at the pace we want him to.
No.
So bad vibes all the way around.
I agree with that. That is not the pace.
I hate that quote.
But it's very accurate.
I hate that quote, though.
I mean,
what does that mean? Like, he's improving, but just not really, basically. That's how I kind of see it.
He's improving, but not very quickly.
I think he's
It's like a slow phone charger. Like, okay, it went up from 41 to 43%, but it's like it really should be like a 48 or 49 right now. This phone charger sucks.
But I feel like Espada does this
That's
a lot.
spot on
Like
analogy.
there's a lot of
Pat
like,
myself on the
oh,
back.
they're doing really well, but not really. With like
Well, I mean,
injuries
isn't
this
that
year.
just the Astros' way though? I mean, this is the same team that
Is
years
it?
ago didn't know a hand of Fromber was hurt.
Or Jordan.
Or Jordan, sorry. There was the same team that told us, Javier, Christian Javier slept on his pillow wrong. He's got neck discomfort, and that turned into Tommy John. So and then there was the whole thing with Verlander when he had Tommy John, where Chandler Rome reported he's going to need Tommy John. The team's like, oh no, he doesn't need it, and he had Tommy John. So I think isn't this just par for the course of the Astros? I mean, would anybody be shocked if
the misleading is just so?
Would it be? I mean, would anybody be
frustrating.
shocked if Kyle Tucker's injury is not a shin contusion, but some sort of hairline fracture at this point?
No,
Then just come out and say that.
But they're not. It's the Astros.
Yeah, well,
I'm agreeing with your frustration, but I mean, we can be frustrated all we want. They don't care.
Yeah, there's a little bit of like weird bedside manner with the Astros too, where they like they want it to like not. They don't want the patient to freak out, and the patient being Astros fans, so they'll always like soft pedal things. But the thing is,
then it makes your anxiety go up.
Yes, when you say it's not a bad injury, and then he's out for 2.5 months. Then
And not like 2.5 months. I didn't read this. This wasn't from Joe Spada. This was on Dana Brown when he was from the flagship. I know you guys talked about it on Gallant and George, where he said, "Well, we hope we're optimistic he can back by September. We hope it's earlier, but maybe September. Like maybe September. I mean, I had a timeline built out of all the different reports I pulled in from RotoWire of all the different things the Astros had said about Kyle Tucker since he first got hurt. Like I think it was June 3rd.
Yeah, and
it was always like, well, we think he's going to be back by Friday. We think he's going to be back by Friday. Then he goes on the IL, and then my favorite part at one point they had a report that he had run on a treadmill. 2 days later, the Astros report was he might progress to running soon. It's like, wait, he just ran. You just told us he was running on a treadmill. Now you're telling us he might progress to running. The reports from out of Astros camp is just bad vibes.
It's a tough situation because it's all you have with all these injuries is like, well, let's see when they come back. But then you also have to remember these people are not credible at all.
No.
And I'm not saying
it's a bunch of Jason Lock and Forrest. I'm not going to take anything they say seriously.
I'm not saying the reporters are not credible. I'm saying the Joe Espada and Dana Brown are not credible with what they say to the media.
Sources that the reporters are getting are not reliable.
They're not credible.
All right, so we got let's carry over the Astros conversation into the break. Mainly getting to some of the moves that their division mates have made, specifically with the Mariners getting Rainy Arozarena and also trading for a bullpen arm. Does that increase the Astros' desperation near the Tuesday's trade deadline? What must they do? We'll discuss that all when we get back on the Bullpen, ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5.
ESPN Zone, DJ Bieneme, he was on the Mina Kimes show featuring Lenny, and Mina Kimes asked him for his prediction, who's going to win the AFC South?
The Colts end up winning the division. One of my biggest things is the Texans schedule scares me.
DJ.
The Texans schedule, it scares me. Like,
wow, let it not be
schedule.
said that you were biased.
Yeah, what
a shocking pick.
Yeah, I think the Colts end up winning.
The Texans have the toughest schedule in the NFL outside of the AFC North. There are 3 AFC North teams in front of them, and then it's
This is the Bullpen on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Live from the Veritex Community Bank Studios. Here are the producers of ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Welcome back in ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5. Myself, Brian McDonald, Sean Mapes, Cam Smith with you here today. If you have anything you want to say about what we're talking about with the Astros, their win last night against the Dodgers, or what the Mariners have done, what the Astros must do at the trade deadline, give us a call on the HRP listener line, 713-780-3776. And I'm just going to apologize right now for my voice. I'm battling some injury or some allergies right now, and some injuries, both actually. But
how long are you going to be out for?
Yeah.
How serious is it?
I've got some back discomfort right now.
I mean, that.
So it could be anywhere from like 3 days to 3 months. And actually, Joe's here, so this is news for him as well. I'm out anywhere between 3 days and 3 months. We'll see how it goes. Dana Brown will let you know. Yeah, I'm progressing.
You're not to running yet.
No, because I'm 40. I hurt myself like the most 40-year-old way ever. I hurt my back while trying to pull a generator into the back of a pickup truck.
I was going to say trying to start the lawnmower.
I thought
that would have been more 40-year-old. That would have been more 40-year-old. But trying to get a generator into the back of a truck is a pretty 40-year-old way to.
By yourself?
No, I had help. But see, when I got the generator, because I was borrowing it from a buddy, he and I are strong enough to lift it out of the truck. But I had my dad with me. He was almost 70. And so he couldn't lift it up with me, but he could help. Like, we had a ramp. And so he was going to help push it from, the bottom where I pulled it from inside the truck. And as soon as I started to pull back on it, the back was like, no, you're 40. Stop doing that. So anyway, before we get back into what we have to say about the Astros right now, let's go out to the HRP listener line. We have La Salsa wanting to talk about the Astros. La Salsa, what do you got for us?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Hey, sorry, Tree Mexican. Are you going to be on the 10-day IL or the 15-day IL?
We're not committing to the IL right now. I think I'm going to be back by Monday. Yeah, I'm going to be back by Monday, but it's a game by game basis. I've got some back discomfort. We'll update you when the updates are warranted.
Okay, good, because I want you to stump the bees. So, anyways, my favorite part of the game yesterday, obviously, it was a great game. But, dude, John Singleton tipped the heck out of that home run. That was awesome. What do you guys think?
He might have. I saw someone. It might have been Michael Schwab. I don't remember, or it might have been Apollo Media. But someone titled their tweet with the Singleton home run with the best bat flip in the game, and it's. I don't know if it's Jose Bautista level yet. Jose Bautista was the king of the bat flip. We'll never forget that walk-off he hit against the Rangers where he paused and just like chunked the bat across the field. But yeah, John Singleton, I think
consistently.
He's very consistent with the quality of his bat flips.
Well, his is very minimal, but it's very like passive aggressive. Like,
he just like flips it off to the side.
It's very quick too,
and just like a.
Get away from me.
It's like a quick toss.
Yeah.
And it's
like one motion.
Yeah, I was just about to say it's like almost part of his swing. Almost. It's because
it's his bat flip the King Griffey of swings.
Why isn't he bat flipping on every swing? He hit nothing but home runs.
I think there's a causation correlation.
I don't know,
thing
Sean. I think I'm onto something.
All right,
if every swing he had ended with the bat flip, he did nothing but home runs.
I like where Cam's head at. It is like the Ken Griffey Jr. of swings when it comes to bat flips.
But we used to have a player. What RIP wasn't Luis Valbuena who would literally flip the bat every swing, and then didn't Carlos Gomez do that for a period of time?
It was
Gomez. Go Gomez.
That was 2015 Astros.
Part of the one of the worst.
Or 2016 Astros.
Gomez is part of the worst trade in Astros history.
Yes.
So he's going to go down as someone I don't look upon fondly. All right, moving quickly on to what the Seattle Mariners have done. I can't talk that trade brings up. I mean, it sent away Josh Hader, which now you had to overpay. It brought Mike Fiers to the organization. The rest is history. But the Seattle Mariners went out and I think surprised everybody because I saw Vegas odds just like 12 hours before this trade happened about, who was the favorite to get Randy Arozarena from the Tampa Bay Rays. And the Mariners were on the list, but they're only like 5th or 6th on the list. They were pretty far down. And so they get him for like, I think it was prospects like 12 and 24. Yeah. It wasn't a whole lot. And then they follow that up with the acquisition of relief pitcher Yimi Garcia, another former Astro. So they've added to their team. I'm curious to see where you guys are at. I talked about this a bit yesterday on the Killer Bees where I was at, and I'll let you guys go first here. But Seattle gets Randy Arozarena. Big deal, little deal, no deal.
Little deal. I'd say little deal. I think they're more than a Randy Arozarena away from their offense being playoff worthy. To be honest, because they legitimately have they're either 30th or 29th.
They were
28th.
They were 28th in runs scored before the trade, behind only the Marlins and the White Sox are behind them.
Yeah, I know they're playing the White Sox, and it's like two of the worst offenses in baseball. One of them is in a division race. The other one is the White Sox. And so the acquisition of Randy Arozarena, his numbers aren't good for the season, but he's been better as of late. He's actually been really good as of late, which tells you how bad he was to start the season.
He's kind of had an Alex Bregman season.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
And even more severe because Alex Bregman, his batting average is up over 250 now, where Arozarena is
still
like 211.
Yeah. He's not a high average guy.
But like you said, since like the start of June, he's actually been really good. But his overall numbers, when you look at it, because his OPS is pretty low too, you look at like, what's he going to do? He's been terrible this year.
Yeah, but they probably need another bat or two. That's why I'm not going big deal because I think they're still as of right now, I'm still going to give the Mariners an incomplete. If the deadline comes and goes, and this is all they stand pat after this, then that's where I think it's actually a little deal.
Yeah, I think it's a little deal too, because like I'm looking at the Mariners like lineup right now, and their on base percentage for their players is just atrocious. So it's just like, who's even going to drive in?
Yeah, that's the problem. They obviously they have Julio Rodriguez who's had his own struggles this year, and Randy Arozarena, who's obviously been great in the past, including Astros fans remember the 2020 postseason where
he was awesome.
I think he had like 7 home runs in that postseason. He was amazing, leading them to a World Series loss against the Dodgers. But yeah, I'm with you, Sean. Like even if what he's been from June through now is the real Arozarena, yeah, it doesn't matter when you're 28th in runs scored, adding one bat who's not. I mean, he's even the player he is now is good. It's not. I mean, it's not Barry Bonds in his prime.
No,
it's not.
He's like
not,
since he's turned it around, he's playing at like an all-star level.
Right. Like yeah, exactly. Like, and I wouldn't even say a lock all-star. It's more kind of like the bottom end of the all-star. So I mean, even if he hits at this level, that offense is starting from such a low point, being in 28th in runs scored, that even adding him to Julio Rodriguez. I mean, okay, they move from 28th in runs scored to 21st. Great, your offense still sucks.
Yeah, what they really need, and if we're doing like Mariners radio, we would just be constantly talking about like what they need is Julio Rodriguez to actually to play better. That's the actual biggest move they could make at the deadline.
No, not biggest. The move at the deadline.
It's just him play better.
Back. Yeah.
Just him play better. It's like where we were with the Astros to start the season with again Alex Bregman, where it was like they don't need a new third baseman. They just need Alex Bregman to play better. Same thing with Abreu, and we saw he didn't. He decided not to play better.
Yeah, I love the report that came out clearly from his agents. Like, well, he's going to take the rest of the year off.
I saw that
with an eye to being ready.
With an eye to be ready for 2025.
He's going to go back down to Florida and get his swings in.
Yeah, he's going to He's going to go eat, pray, love, and get his groove back. That's what's going to happen for Jose Abreu. As he's nearing 40. That's what 40-years do. I don't know if you guys are aware.
Is he having
their back?
Is he having a midlife crisis?
He could be. I definitely think it's possible. My 40th birthday was a little bit rough there. So
really?
We talk about that off air.
Oh,
I don't want to bore the people. I don't want to bore the people.
Wow.
But yeah, there's a moment. I mean, you guys will get there, Cam, much sooner than Sean. But
I don't know much sooner.
Well, Cam, you're like 34-ish, I guess. Am I dead on? Okay, I'm dead on. So yeah, so he's gonna get there 6 years before you, Sean.
I thought you were younger.
Oh wow!
I get that.
I guess it's like, hey, that's a compliment from Sean. You appear youthful, even though you're an old man.
Thank you. I hope it has nothing to do with my height.
No. It's your disposition.
Oh,
yeah,
ooh.
the vibes.
You have a youthful disposition.
Yeah. So another move made in the American League. Well, we might have to carry some of this conversation over, but another move made in the American League. The Orioles get Zach Eflin also from the Rays, which had to be a pitcher, I think, on the Astros' radar. But I think what's maybe, I don't know if they planned it this way, but I think this could end up being a positive thing for the Astros with some of these acquisitions being made, they're letting other teams around Major League Baseball kind of set the market for what these fringe all-stars, just less than all-star type players are getting in trade value. So hopefully that keeps the Astros from A, overpaying for the guys they look to acquire, and B, maybe if the market price is lower, which, I mean, I was shocked by what Randy Rosarino went for, then maybe they can actually get multiple pieces instead of just one. I'm curious what you guys think of some of these reports. There's 2 reports coming out recently. One from John Morosi from MLB Network saying this was on his Twitter account. Jack Flaherty has been subject of trade dialogue between the Tigers and the Astros. He's, of course, a right-handed starting pitcher for the Tigers, formerly of the Cardinals. And then Chandler Rome said sources, the Astros have expressed interest in Cubs starter Jameson Taillon. Jameson Taillon, I believe from the Woodlands. I know from the Houston area, but a long-time Major League veteran starting pitcher. He's had his ups and downs, but has been pretty solid. I mean, your overall thoughts on some of these names being thrown out, and if you prefer someone else, let us know. But what are your thoughts on what the Astros might look to do with starting pitcher? Because I think we'd all agree that's the number one need.
Yeah.
But what do you think they look to do here before Tuesday's deadline?
Well, the thing with Eflin getting traded and the Astros, I guess, being linked to not just it's not Isaac, it's Isak, right?
Right.
Isak Paredes and more recently Yandy Diaz, the first baseman for the Rays, Paredes, the third baseman who can play a little bit of first. And they're also linked to Eflin. So it looked like there's a really good chance, or at least a chance, that there could be one move that kills 2 birds with 1 stone dealing with the Rays. Obviously now Eflin headed to the Orioles. I doubt that they trade for both Diaz and Paredes. They trade for 2 bats.
Yeah, you couldn't play both.
It also just wouldn't be a good allocation of what you need, of the holes you're trying to fill. So they will have to look elsewhere for pitching. I do like the White Sox starter
Eric
Fetty.
Fetty. Yeah, Fetty's kind of been the name I've keyed in on because he's a guy that, because of his age, because he had to go over to Korea to kind of rebuild his career last season, comes back to the White Sox this year, or comes to the White Sox this year, and has had a really good season, ERA under 3. But because he's 31, because he doesn't have this long track record of being super successful, I think his price tag is low. And if you get him, not only are you getting a player who I think is going to be on a discount, who's played well this year, but he's on the books for 1 more season, right? Like
low deal too.
I believe it's just 1 more season, but
no,
either way,
but a low number.
Yeah, exactly. It's 7.5. He's making 7.5 million next year, which is also a reason why I like Tyler Anderson, who did make the All-Star team for the Angels this year, because he's also under contract. If you get him, when I don't know if the Angels will be willing to deal in the division, but if they did, Tyler,
they don't want to play him in the playoffs.
Yeah, that actually good point. But Tyler Anderson is on the books next year for 1 more season at 13 million. So obviously 7.5, way greater savings than 13, but still, even at 13 million, we're talking about, I mean, that's less than Lance McCullers is making to sit on the bench. So either one, you would have team control for next year. They've been great this year, and what they're on the books for next year is very, very reasonable.
I'd say Fetty and Flaherty, the killer Fs. 1, 2.
We got way too many of those. So we doing the killer G thing. Then we got killer Fs.
I like Anderson, and then that's when I those are the 3 pitchers that I want to come away with one of them, and then one of the Rays.
Fetty,
infielders.
Anderson, or Flaherty. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Where are you at, Cam?
I mean, I'm with y'all on Anderson and Fetty. I'm probably more Jameson than I am over Jack Flaherty. And then I would much rather have Paredes than Diaz, just because Paredes can play first and third.
Looking ahead, if Bregman leaves.
If Bregman leaves, you can plug in him. Obviously, you can plug him at third base. Plus, his numbers are just overall better.
Yeah,
well, he's way more power.
So.
Like, I mean,
I was gonna say Diaz is not it's weird because he looks like a power hitter, but he does not elevate.
I mean, he won a batting title last year, but I believe he only hit like 17, 18 home runs last season, whereas Paredes hit 31 a year ago and is on pace for like 28 or 29 this year. He's a much better power hitter.
I was like looking at his numbers.
Sorry, not to cut you off, but not only is he a power hitter, but I heard this stat on MLB Network. All of his career home runs have been pull home runs. He's a right-handed hitter coming to the Crawford box.
He would demolish.
Yeah, it's a perfect fit.
I think I read something too where they were saying that if he had been playing with the Astros this year, he would have like 11 more home runs because of
I
Minute
believe
Maid.
it. He's a Deadpool hitter.
Yeah.
Barry
And
Bonds.
the other thing too is he doesn't strike out a lot. Like I think he only has like 62 strikeouts to like 48 walks this year. So like he's a power guy, but like he's not up there just swinging.
And that is a very Astros hitter, is low strikeout, decent amount of walks, and
big time power,
and a bat and especially that plays at
oh
Minute
yeah,
Maid.
plays big time at Minute Maid. I wouldn't be. I'm with you that I would prefer, like, if everything else is equal, I'd prefer Paredes for all the things you mentioned, like being able to play third if Bregman leaves, bigger power, fits the ballpark really well. But again, I mean, Yandy Diaz won a batting title last year. You have the need at first, and because he's, I believe, 32. Whereas Paredes is mid 20s. Yeah, he's mid 20s, and he has like 3 years left of team control. Paredes might be. We'll see, because Randy Rosarena just went for peanuts. But Paredes might be a guy that cost is so much so that would limit your ability to then get a starting pitcher as well. I think you could get a better quality starting pitcher if you're willing to take Yandy than if you go all in for Paredes, and that's kind of where I'd be fine with Yandy, because I'd prefer to get my choice of pitchers and then or get Yandy and then still have enough left to go get my choice of pitchers.
I understand that thinking. Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and go to break here on ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5. If you want to join in and give us your thoughts on what the Astros must do at the deadline, or thoughts on last night's win over the Dodgers, give us a call on the HRP listener line or text us 713-780-3776. Also, if you have Texans thoughts, because that's where we're getting to next. I've seen this put out there, guys, and it's a bit of a hot stance, a hot take, if you will. But we're going to kick it around when we get back. Is this season Super Bowl or bust for your Houston Texans? That when the bullpen returns on ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5.
You're back inside the bullpen with the producers of ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
We're back. I just,
Oh, hey, we're back. ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5. Have you been back for a while?
Nah, not too long.
It's Saturday. It's more casual. I mean,
just vibing, a little Outcast.
Just vibing. Yeah. Good vibes over here, unlike the Astros training room that we talked about in the first segment. But again, if you have any thoughts, on what we talked about with the Texans, or about to talk about with the Texans, the Houston Astros, give us a call on the HRMP listener line, 713-780-3776. So I saw this, I believe it's a tweet from Jonathan Alexander of the Houston Chronicle, linking to an article, of course, asking the question, like it seeming to indicate that the fans' expectation for the Houston Texans this season, Super Bowl or bust. Your immediate reaction when you hear that?
I think it's definitely possible that they can go to the Super Bowl, maybe even win it. I mean, if you can go to the Super Bowl, you probably can't win it. But I don't think the expectation is to win a Super Bowl. I think the expectation is AFC title game or bust. I think that's a more appropriate.
It's not as sexy of a headline.
No, it's lose to the Chiefs in the AFC title game or bust isn't going to drive a lot of clicks, I fear. But I think that's a more reasonable expectation. Year two, with everybody essentially on this team, all the primary pieces, it's either year two or year one with these guys. So yeah, I don't think I'm quite ready to stamp them with Super Bowl or bust. There's probably only like, I don't know, 4 teams in football any given year that are Super Bowl or bust.
Certainly the Niners and the Chiefs could say that.
Yeah, Niners, Chiefs, maybe
Ravens, Lions, I think could say that, because the Lions had a big lead at halftime on the Niners.
The Bills in the past were Super Bowl or bust. Now
I don't think they could say that now.
Yeah, so
I think you're right. I think it's 4 teams this year that can say that.
I think every year there's only so many teams that truly have that expectation on them, and I don't think the Texans are there quite yet. Maybe next year. We're talking Super Bowl or bust, and I'm not saying that they can't win a Super Bowl. I'm just saying that that's not the expectation right now.
I mean, yeah, our expectation, no. I mean, obviously, if you ask the players, they're going to be like, yeah, Super Bowl. But no, I mean, they overachieved last year. They have a much harder schedule this year. So, yeah, it's no way near Super Bowl or bust for me. If they could win, if they could just get to the AFC Championship game,
what would be a successful season to you then, Cam? Like, if we're doing this show on February whatever, one of the deadest sports months of the year, and we're reviewing the Texans season, what sort of season? What would they have to accomplish for you to say that was a great season? I'm excited for what they did. They hit their expectation, and I have no regrets or no disappointment.
Getting to the AFC Championship game.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say win the division, or at least win 10 games, 10 or 11 games.
I think they got to win the division.
I feel like they do, but if they are a wild card and they make the AFC title,
right, if they still make, we're not gonna. Yeah, right, you're right. If they still get to the AFC title game, we're not gonna bitch about if it was from a wild card spot
because they lost the tiebreaker to the Colts. Yeah,
right. Yeah. But I do agree. I think, to answer my own question, I do think, because Super Bowl or bust to me implies that it's been like where the Niners are, where they've been knocking on the door every year, or the Chiefs, where they're trying to three-peat. The Texans, as Cam pointed out, definitely overachieved last year, and they made huge leaps and bounds. I think where we as Texans fans want to see is them to get where they've never been before, which thankfully for them isn't very far, because they've never been to an AFC Championship game.
I also
to see them go from 3 wins to 10 wins to Super Bowl is a bit much.
Yeah, I just think that, I mean, how many teams in NFL history have a second-year quarterback, a second-year head coach, a second-year best
Cincinnati Bengals?
No, but the expectation is Super Bowl or bust.
Okay,
going into the season.
Yeah, it wasn't that for the Bengals going into the season. Yeah, they got to the Super Bowl.
We're talking about expectations beforehand. They were no one says, "Hey, your quarterback's 23 years old, it's Super Bowl or bust." I mean,
now's the time.
Even if you want to do the deadline is while he's on a rookie deal, you still have 2 more years after this one where that's true. So I don't even 100% believe that's a deadline for teams to truly compete. So I like you said, I think the Chiefs, the Niners are 2 no doubt Super Bowl or bust teams, and I would probably throw in the Lions and maybe the Ravens, maybe the Bengals actually.
I'll throw Philly in there.
Okay, yeah, I think Philly would
Especially
be Super
with
Bowl
their
bust.
acquisition of Saquon Barkley.
Well, and also
a little salty that he's not at Texans camp right now.
Oh no saltiness at all.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Sirianni also has to prove that it was him.
Yeah,
and not the coordinators that got out of town and then everything fell off.
Yeah, the Eagles are in a tough spot where I'm not even sure if it's Super Bowl or bust. It's more like win some playoff games and keep your job. Like
it's survival. It's pay my mortgage this month.
Exactly. Stay employed.
Stay employed. So I think we're all in agreement there. Let's transition to the Texans training room. We talked about the Astros training room earlier with the bad vibes coming out of there. Not bad vibes all the way around in the Texans training room because they don't have a lot of people there that are super concerning. But one I am concerned about is Joe Mixon. I get it. It's what today's July 27th. The Texans don't play till the first Sunday in September, so they have over a month to go before this. But I think all of us as fantasy football players know that other than season-ending injury, the thing we want to see the least pop up on our timeline for as a news update for one of our players is dealing with a hamstring injury. Those things linger. We've seen it with Christian McCaffrey. Cam, you've seen it with Keenan Allen as a Chargers fan. Him miss like 8 weeks in the middle of a season because of a hamstring. So these look. I mean, I'm not pressing the panic button now. I'm not even raising a tiny little red flag, but I'm kind of just putting a pin in it. Like let's keep an eye on that because they bring in Cam Akers. I don't think Cam Akers is someone that they're going to depend on this season, but they brought in a name which seems to me to indicate they expect Mixon's going to be out a little while. And then, I mean, he's not a veteran that needs to play in preseason games, but man, hamstring injuries are just scary to me.
Yeah, he doesn't need to play in preseason games. Would like to see him in camp.
Yeah, he's with a
would
new
like to have
team.
him out
He's
there.
learning a new system. Let's at least get him some reps.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna chalk it up to the heat.
the heat just
Yeah.
too hot.
Coming from
I mean, he
Cincinnati
played-
in the cold.
But he played in Oklahoma in college.
Yeah, that's 10 years ago, man.
Yeah, it's 10 years ago. He softened up while he was in Ohio.
You said it, not me. You said it.
You
said
know what?
it, man.
I'll say it. If Ohio wants to come at me, 713-780-3776.
But I think where you're at's an understandable position where it's not the end of the world that he's dealing with a hamstring injury again 5 weeks away from the start of the season.
Right. It's just something
It's,
like
you'd prefer he isn't though. You would prefer that he's getting the Laramie Tunsil veteran days,
which is
as
what I
opposed
thought
to,
it started off like when the initial reports came out that he wasn't practicing. It wasn't reported as what we've later found out to be the hamstring issue, which was very Astros of them. Almost expected him to say like leg discomfort at some point. But then when it eventually came out, because I thought initially it's like, okay, it's a Veterans Day off. He's a 28-year-old running back.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, bringing in the hamstring because. Look, I mean, again, I'm not pressing any alarms. I'm thinking he's going to be fine because he's got 5-6 weeks before the regular season. But he's a 28-year-old running back, and we've seen more than any other position, I think, in sports that when it goes quickly. Sometimes for these guys, it can go from fine to over the hill with a snap of a finger. And maybe this is nothing, or maybe this is the beginning of what we're going to eventually look back on and say, okay, his body's in decline.
Yeah, and as a fellow 28-year-old, I can sympathize.
How's your hamstring right now, Sean?
Never been. Oh no, been better.
Been better.
But good. I'd say good. I could practice right now.
All right,
I could be out there.
That's good to know. All right, let's carry this conversation over to the other side of the break, get into some more Texans conversation. We got Lamont on the line. Lamont, don't go anywhere. We will get to you when we get back. If you want to join Lamont and ask us a question, give us a call at 713-780-3776. In addition to Lamont's call when we get back, on the other side of the break, I want to play some audio from Colin Cowherd talking about the job Nick Caserio's done and ask the question, with Nick Caserio in control, are the Texans now entering an Astros-long golden era of Texans football? All right, that one, the Bullpen returns on ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5.
You're listening to the Bullpen on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5. Welcome back into the Bullpen. Myself, Brian McDonald, found on Twitter at SatByBMax. Sean Mapes found on Twitter at Sean A. Mapes, and Cam Smith on Twitter as well at Clutch City Cam. And fellas, we were talking about the Texans and some of the goings on at training camp. If they're Super Bowl or bust, what's going on with Joe's hamstring? And right now, we have Lamont on the HRP listener line. If you want to join in and also ask a question, give us a call at 713-780-3776. But Lamont's joining us to talk about what's going on at Texans training camp. Lamont, how are you doing?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Lamont. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. It was just an observation, and it doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things, man. But I was like, this training camp right here, the weather is treating the Texans fairly good. I'm assuming that most of you guys are from Houston in the studio right now, and you know how this place can get in July and August. And I was like, wow, man, this has been kind of pleasant. In other words, can you think of it of how the rookies that came and felt this desert last year was probably telling them, man, it's going to be real hot in Houston. And they feeling all this good weather. I know it's raining and I know it's nasty and there's mosquitoes out there, but we all know how this weather could get. And it was just something I just picked up on, man, that the weather, treated them somewhat decent this training camp than last year or years before. And that's all I had, fellas. Like I said,
what's up, Lamont?
No, like I said, it was just light. It was just a light observation that I just picked up on.
I appreciate the call, Lamont.
Yeah. So a very good observation.
A very good observation, though. Hot take. Does this make the Texans a little soft going into the season? They're not going through the rigors of a normal Houston July. They're not going through the heat and the humidity.
According to Stephon Diggs, this must be what hell feels like.
Yeah,
did
you hear it's coming from playing in Minnesota and Buffalo? Stephon, if you're listening, I know you are. Call us on the HRP listener line 713-780-3776. You ain't seen nothing yet, bro.
It definitely, because it's something that our very own Paul Gallant, who's been going to training camp this week.
He's a hardo. Yeah.
Yes.
He's there every day.
And every day he's like, I don't want to say it, but the weather's been really nice.
Yeah. It's nice when there's cloud cover every day.
There's clouds. There's a little bit. It was actually raining. Was it Friday when he went?
Yeah, because I remember
They're
when I
off
saw
on
him
Thursday.
when we crossed paths in the studio, he was complaining that his shoes and socks were all wet from being at practice. So
that's Paul.
That's Paul.
But it's a very good observation, Lamont. It has been good weather. Also, as 3 lifelong Houstonians, August probably going to hit triple digits.
August, I would
probably going to hit triple digits.
If we want to do a ranking of the worst months here, I think August is the GOAT.
Yeah, August 1.
September is actually, I would say, even worse. I actually of the 3, July, August, September, I would say the best weather is actually July. Like September or October or August, at least the first part of September.
Maybe against expectations.
I don't know, man. September could be brutal. Hell! I've gotten sunburns in December at Longhorn games.
Give me
that's a
October
you problem. that's a you problem.
No, it's because it's 80.
That's a you problem.
No, because it was 80. Cracker too. What are you talking about? Yeah, but it was 85 in December. Sean, I was trying to watch Texas beat the hell out of Colorado in the Big 12 title game.
It's about the sun.
I was like wondering.
It was 2005.
It can still be chilly, and if the sun is out in Houston, you're gonna get burned.
Yeah,
like,
well, it wasn't that day. It was like I said, it was 85 in December. It was not a chilly day because that's Houston for you. But yeah, no, if the new guys like the Neil Hunter, obviously playing in Minnesota, Stephon Diggs, Minnesota, then Buffalo, we got a lot of Northerners coming down.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, even Danico Autry and Aziz Al-Shir coming from Tennessee. I mean, it snows there. Guys, buckle in. You've had some nice weather so far, but once it gets to August and this rain goes away, it's going to get real hot real quick.
And normally wouldn't really be an issue for the Texans. I don't know if you know this. NRG is missing a couple roof panels up top.
Yeah.
They're going to be playing in the element, or at least like 20% of the elements.
Because I don't know if you know this, Sean and Cam, but you just can't go to Home Depot and get roof panels.
No.
As
you know what?
As Cal felt it necessary to tell us.
I'm going to act like, of course I knew that. News to me, Cal. Thanks.
Hey, what area is the retractable roof panels in? Is that is that H4 or is that on 7?
It needs to be like 75 yards long.
Yeah, how big of a panel are you looking? Yeah, I'm looking for about a 75-yarder, I think.
Maybe 80.
Maybe off-white, transparent if you've got it. I don't want black. It traps the heat. Let's go with white. I don't know if Home Depot carries that.
No, but more of an eggshell, actually.
Yeah. All right, moving on. But yeah, that'll do it for weather talk today on the Bullpen, ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5. But continue the Texans conversation now. We're going to go to some audio here, guys. Colin Cowherd on his show was talking about the job that Nick Caserio has done with rebuilding the Houston Texans roster, and made some points kind of pointing the finger at Bill Belichick's like, you had this guy there, and yet your draft sucks. So let's hear right now from Colin Cowherd on his thoughts on the job Nick Caserio has done rebuilding the Texans roster.
Because that franchise was a joke in the league. And then Nick Caserio, who was the director of personnel in New England, took the job three and a half years ago and has crushed the draft and crushed free agency. In 3 drafts, Houston now is a top 5 roster from a bottom 3 roster. Joke to playoff team in Houston. They just added a star edge, a star running back, and a star wide receiver in free agency. He has made almost no mistakes, Nick Caserio. He may have missed on an offensive lineman in 3 drafts. That's it. Yet New England's last 6 drafts, of which Caserio was in the building for a few of those, several of those, probably last 7 drafts, have all been putrid for New England. So either Nick Caserio suddenly got brilliant when he got on a plane and flew to Houston, or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 of those drafts, because he was in New England for years, and the drafts kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse when Caserio was there. So either he got brilliant once he got on an airplane and flew to Houston, or Bill Belichick trumped all of his advice, would not listen, and took over the drafts.
I think we know the answer to Colin's question there. Like, because I mean, he sets it up was like, well, either this guy became a genius in the 3-hour flight from Boston to Houston, or Bill Belichick decided to draft N'Keal Harry on his own, and all these other bums that have sent the Patriots roster to the point it's at now. So it is interesting as he goes on. The clip is quite a bit longer. He goes on to point out kind of the mindset you see from some of these older hard-nosed, tough guy, defensive head coaches that want to have total roster control and then run the team to the ground because they can't focus on everything. So certainly seemed to be the case happening there at the end in New England, because Nick Caserio came here, and as Colin also points out, you look at his tenure here, and it's really just the one miss, Kenyon Green. I mean, obviously, everyone would rather have the safety that the Ravens got, Hamilton, out of Notre Dame. That was a big miss. Now, Kenyon Green, we'll see. The book's not completely closed on him. I think it's mostly closed. We're kind of propping it open with one finger.
It's closed. It's closed.
It's probably closed. I'm trying to be a little optimistic.
According to my not sources, he's actually looked pretty well this camp. Like, he's slimmed down.
Okay,
he's been able to.
Okay, hold on. Who have they says, man? Who's D'Amico come out and says like, man, this guy looks like ass? I mean, he's not saying that about anybody.
Well, no. But I'm saying,
in fact, we built a segment about it next segment called Training Camp Hype for this exact reason.
Well,
because everyone's in the best shape of their life.
I'm not.
And everyone's injured ahead of schedule. That's just kind of this time of year.
I mean, I guess that's what they're gonna say. But I'm saying, I feel like collectively this year there's a lot more positive talk about him than there was.
I did see that he trained with Nadam. I can't say his name. Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah.
During the offseason. So. Maybe that'll matter. We'll see. I mean, I hope so. Kenyon Green out of Atascocita, near where I live, went to Texas A&M. You want to see him do well, but yeah, obviously that's the big miss right now for Nick Caserio was Kenyon Green instead of obviously drafting the safety Hamilton that the Ravens took.
Yeah, even Stingley over Sauce is like
it's
just missed games. It's missed games is the only.
Yeah, because year 2 was a wash. Year 1 it looked bad, obviously, but year 2 it's been a wash. I mean, you look even before he had good draft picks, because year 1 they didn't have a draft pick till the 3rd round.
Yeah.
And that draft they got Nico Collins, obviously huge hit. They got Jalen Petrie, huge hit.
One other guy.
Who's Davis Mills?
Davis Mills.
I mean, I will say for a 3rd round quarterback, I mean, I'm not gonna say it's a hit. I'm not gonna say it's a hit because he looks like a giraffe, as Cam's pointing out.
Yes.
But
He wasn't a disaster.
He's as a third round pick getting depth quarterback. I don't think that's a miss. You can say it's not a hit, but it's also not a miss.
Oh, I guess Tyrod started that season, right?
He started it at least the first couple games. Yeah. I don't know how far into the season he got. But
I was gonna say
at least week 1 and week 2 he started.
I was gonna say we see a lot of rookies that are first round picks come in and look disastrous when they're in as
Zach
rookies.
Wilson, yeah.
And Davis Mills wasn't a disaster.
Right.
That's all I'll say. Not Mills Mafia right now. This isn't Mills Mafia.
He also
hour.
didn't have much around him either.
Yeah,
so.
but he hasn't really been great since then. There hasn't been a lot of flashes of great. I mean,
I think we would agree, not a hit, but also not a miss.
Yeah,
he's kind of squarely in the middle. So you hit with Petrie in a third round pick. You hit with Nico Collins on a third round pick. At least for one season, you hit with Damian Pierce on a fourth round pick. You hit on Christian Harris. You hit on Derek Stingley. Obviously, you swing big, not only for C.J. Stroud, but the trade up for Will Anderson. That's the hit. You had guys like Danielle Hunter, Danico Autry, and Azeez Al-Shir. The trade for Diggs. I mean, Casario's hit record has been really damn impressive, and it has me, as we tease going to the break, asking the question, because this is kind of where the Astros were at with the GM that you trusted in Jeff Luhnow until obviously what happened.
I still trust
him. Okay. I mean, there's some wiggle room there, but you think the Texans are now entering? And obviously, this question becomes easier to ask when you trust the head coach and the quarterback. But are the Texans now entering like an Astros long golden era of Texans football?
Oh, I think it's too soon to start that conversation.
How dare you?
Yeah, Astros.
How dare you?
Astros era. Let's put some respect on the Houston Astros.
Okay, so year one of that run, 2015. They should have beat the Royals, but obviously they melted down in the 7th inning after the governor tweeted out, "Congratulations, the Astros."
Or was it?
It was Greg Abbott.
Oh, it was Abbott.
It was Greg
Abbott. I was there for that game. I witnessed that ground ball.
Yeah,
I was working there at the time.
Four-run lead going to the 7th, and they couldn't get it done. But they should have beat the Royals. Next year, they don't make the playoffs in 2016. So,
and then they make the ALCS every year until
right. So obviously the Texans haven't got to that part of the golden run. But if you look at just obviously, I don't hope they don't repeat the 2016. But you kind of 2015 was kind of what
they're on pace.
The 2015
they've started the race.
Yeah, 2015 for the Astros, 2023 for the Texans are pretty similar as far as they overcame very low expectations, got further than you thought they would, came up short. Now let's see how they follow up on it.
Again,
all right.
There's still 7 straight ALCSs that they need to do.
So you're saying I'm jumping the gun?
I get it. It's like when a guy hits a home run on opening day and they're on pace for 162.
They are. I mean, what you're saying is a mathematical fact, Sean.
And what you're saying is a mathematical fact that making the playoffs, winning a series, that is the same. Or look, they didn't win a series; they won a playing game.
Yeah, they won a playing game. Yeah,
but
it's the Yankees, though.
Cool. So never mind. But they are on. 2015 and 2023 have some similarities.
Yes. Come over to my side. Come on.
I need a little bit more.
Yeah.
I need a little bit more before I call them the Houston Astros.
I know you guys are right, but I'm going to stand on business here. When you have a GM that's making hit after hit with Nick Caserio, you got the coach, you got the quarterback, golden era, baby.
I'm not. How about this? It can be the golden era of Texans football. I'll say I'm feeling
all right.
I'm confident that we will look back whenever, 15 years from now, whenever CJ Stroud's ready to hang him up. Actually, it'll probably be 20 years from now. But I'm willing to grant you that the next 10 years could be the golden era of Houston Texans football. I'm not ready to slap them with an Astros dynasty.
Because this was the same thing that was said a couple years ago with massage parlor spiritual spokesperson who was on the team. So
quiet down, Cam. There's no reason to bring Deshaun Watson.
I'm just saying it was the same hype.
Okay.
But they actually did it for a couple years.
CJ Stroud's going to start looking up Instagram.
No, I'm not comparing. I'm not comparing them.
Taking up residency in the Houstonian.
I'm just saying. Texans were trash. Deshaun came. They had a really good year, overexceeded expectations, and people were like, "Oh, it's the golden year of the Texans." And then, bloop, so I'm just
I distinctly remember.
Over here.
I distinctly remember in 2018 or 19 being like, Deshaun Watson's already the best quarterback in Texans history. I know you can't say it, but he's already the best.
Next is CJ Stroud, already the best. No, I'm kidding. But I'm just guys.
One or two more.
Look, I mean, when you guys are ready to jump on the bandwagon, look, I'm already on it. I might just
Okay.
push you back off.
So
There's not going to be room for you guys anymore.
In
I'm just saying.
2029, when they've made
It's fine. I'll hitch a ride
5
at the
straight
Chargers.
AFC title games.
You hitch a ride with the Chargers with that weird ass coach of yours talking about coming out of the womb for training camp.
He's a genius. Let him say what
all
he
right,
wants.
we're going to break. We're way over. Cam, hater ass Cam. I see. I just turned off his mic. All right, ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5. When we get back, we're trying out a new segment. It's time for the Hype Train on ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5.
Broadcasting live from the Veritex Community Bank Studios, it's the Bullpen on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
All right, guys, it's time. It's time for the Hype Train because we don't get hyped. We stay hyped. And we're here to cover all the biggest news coming out of NFL training camps, all these reports about guys being ahead of schedule, about being in the best shape of their career, about them being in line for a huge season. We're going to talk about it right now and declare if we're jumping on the hype train or if we're diving off the tracks and getting away from this. Right now, let's start off in the Texans division. Michael Pittman Jr., the headline, aiming to reach next tier at wideout, guys. After a slow start to his NFL career as a rookie, Colts wide receiver Michael Pittman Jr. has been pretty good. Apparently, this is coming out of Colts training camp. He is apparently looking to, quote, I need to get to the next level and reach that next tier, Pittman said, and I think that starts with probably more touchdowns. You guys jumping on board with Michael Pittman. You buying into the hype train, Sean? Is he going to reach that next tier as a wide receiver in the NFL?
Yeah.
All aboard!
Yeah, I think especially with Anthony Richardson being able to unlock a little bit more out of Pittman. You think about who Pittman's had throwing him the ball with his time as
Well,
as
you're
the
not
Colts.
impressed with Gardner Minshew
Not
and
impressed,
Matt
no.
Ryan and Phillip Rivers and
Not impressed with the retirement.
Jacoby Brissett.
With the senior circuit that he had and backup quarterbacks. No, I think that if Anthony Richardson can stay healthy, I think Michael Pittman should be probably the biggest beneficiary in that offense.
All right, the next one is for you, Cam. Hype train. Are you buying in? Do you believe it? You jumping on the train? This is at a Bucks camp. Mike Evans says Chris Godwin looked like he was already in midseason form today. That's another popular one. Hey, they're in midseason form already. Said he looks like the 2019 Chris Godwin, which was the guy that caught like 102 passes. I believe was the number 2 wide receiver in fantasy. Are you buying into the hype, Cam, on Chris Godwin?
I am, because he looked really good last year alongside Mike Evans with Baker Mayfield. And because I think he missed a couple games, two or three, and he still finished like 26 in fantasy. So whatever Mike Evans says, I'm on board with it.
Oh, you're just buying in wholesale to whatever Mike Evans tells you?
I'm also really big.
You buying into
Chris
what the
Godwin
Aggie tells
fan.
you? You're a Cougars fan. What's that about?
I have family that went to A&M.
I'm sorry, my condolences. All right, Sean, you buying into the Chris Godwin hype?
Nah.
Yeah. Doesn't he feel like kind of my train? Doesn't he feel like just a guy?
Yeah,
I know we probably look at his numbers like, oh, that's better than I thought, but he feels like just a guy.
It's mostly the injuries. It's the injuries I think I'm not ready to go because 2019 is was it ACL or Achilles? I forgot.
It was ACL, I'm pretty sure.
And so I'm not quite ready to go there. I think it's Mike Evans just bigging up his guy.
All right, this one again is for Sean now. Hype train Rashad Bateman, a former first-round pick for the Ravens, has been disappointing so far. But the headline looks good at Monday's practice. Bateman turned in an impressive effort during Monday's training camp practice, according to Ryan Meek and Matt Ryan of the Ravens official site. I'm guessing that's not that Matt Ryan.
Probably different.
Per the report, Bateman recorded a catch Monday while falling to his back, grabbing the ball off his shoelaces in the process. Is this Rashad Bateman season overtaking Zay Flowers, Sean? You buy the hype.
Oh, overtaking Zay Flowers. I'll say I'm ready to buy the hype. That's me laying on the horn. And I'm ready to draft him in the 5th or 6th round in fantasy and then regretting it by week 5 or 6.
There's the other part.
I'm ready to get hurt again by Rashad Bateman, one of the greatest hypothetical football players we've had.
Very hypothetical.
Who, by the way, stays. I guess he's been hurt a little bit, but
he doesn't get hurt. He stays hurt.
He stays hurt, which helps his hypothetical rankings.
All right, this one is put in here on purpose for Mr. Cameron Smith over here because it's about a Los Angeles supercharger, as he's got the H-Town Bolt Gang sticker on the back of his phone here. So the quote coming out of training camp for Quentin Johnson, your first round pick last year, who sucked. He's like,
hey,
okay,
you're
sorry.
leading the witness.
Sorry, I'm leading the witness. You're right. I'm leading the witness. All right. Headline: Quentin Johnson off to a strong start in training camp. Quentin Johnson is reportedly off to a strong start in training camp after entering with his role being unclear. Cam, there's not a lot there for him to compete with. You got Joshua Palmer. You got the rookie with Ladd McConkey coming in. Is Quentin Johnson wide receiver 1 this year for your LA Chargers? You buying the hype?
Hell no. I'm never buying his hype. I hated that pick. I still hate that pick. He's technically listed as the 4th receiver right now.
Is he really?
He's behind Ladd McConkey and DJ Chark.
So the Chargers aren't buying the hype either.
They are doing exactly what the Astros are doing. They're making it seem like it's nothing. That is exactly what Quentin Johnson is.
He's got discomfort.
I'm not on this train. I hope that Quentin Johnson train leaves the station of LA.
Okay, I was worried where that was going to
I thought you were about to try to throw him under the tracks.
Yeah.
Like, I hope this man gets put on the tracks by a 1920s movie villain.
Twisting their mustache.
Twisting the mustache.
No, so
and he gets his ass run over.
Obviously, I hope that it works out for him, but I'm not
You
on
hate the
the
man.
I'm not on the
You
train.
hate the man. You're such a hater.
I hated the pick. I hated the pick.
Yeah,
I hope
so
he
you're
does
backing
well.
up what I said. You're a hater.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you're right. I am a hater.
All right,
you already got your Ladd McConkey jersey.
All right, someone else who's been a disappointing rookie pick so far. This is a couple years ago. This one to you, Sean. Jamison Williams from the Lions. Apparently, he is, quote, standing out early in camp. Williams has been an early standout at Lions training camp practices. Jeff Seidel of the Detroit Free Press reports. Do you think this is Jamison Williams' season? I know he's got to compete with targets with Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta, but is this the year that Jamison Williams finally lives up on the first round hype and steps up and is a legit contender or a legit what's the I can't even think of the word. I'm too hyped up. He's a legit contributor. There's the word. It is relevant in fantasy football this season.
Yeah, I think he's going to be relevant in fantasy football.
Oh my God!
I wasn't expecting
I'm
the
just
woo.
here for the drops.
Yeah. Little note to the listeners out there. Really, this segment works backwards.
Yes.
What I say does not actually matter.
No, we're just here for the drops. And for the music.
Jamison Williams, I believe him because I think this is the first year in his NFL career he'll be available week 1, whether it's coming back from injury or gambling suspension. So I'm ready. I'm ready. You know, if
you ready to get hurt again?
If he's ready to bet on himself, I'm ready to bet on him.
Well, and Josh Reynolds is gone, so now he's going to get even more targets.
Yeah. Maybe.
Thank you for the actual football answer.
I mean, to give the real football answer, I mean, Jamison Williams, is he any more than the 4th target in that offense behind Amon-Ra, behind Sam Laporta, behind Jahmyr Gibbs?
David Montgomery.
Okay, is he behind Montgomery too? So now he's the 5th target?
Probably not, though. So I say he's 4th.
He's the 4th target, so yeah, probably not relevant in fantasy.
Not getting doubled, though.
All right, so let's see if this is for all of us, and we'll get out after this one. See if this guy's relevant in fantasy football. There's a little bit of a hole left in the Buffalo Bills wide receiver room when Stephon Diggs left town. So did Gabe Davis going to Jacksonville. And Curtis Samuel, formerly of the Panthers and of the Washington Commanders, is a, quote, making noise at camp. Now, what does that mean? No idea. Don't care. Samuel has been a standout through the first 2 days of Bills training camp, according to Anthony Prohaska of Cover One Sports Network. I'm impressed with myself that I got that. So
Curtis, brother?
Maybe. Curtis Samuel coming into a situation where I assume Dalton Kincaid is the number 1 target. They also draft Keon Coleman out of Florida State to, I guess, eventually be the number 1 wide receiver. But I mean, Curtis Samuel, when he was with this offensive coordinator in Carolina, had 1,000 yards from scrimmage season. I had to say from scrimmage because it wasn't as a receiver. Do you think Curtis Samuel could end up being the number 1 wide receiver for Josh Allen, be relevant in fantasy?
I think he could end up being having the most yards on that team. But if we're talking fantasy, like
is anybody relevant catching the ball besides Dalton Kincaid on that team?
I mean, I guess you have to say Curtis Samuel because technically he is the number 1 wide receiver. Like he is the one with the experience.
No, stop there. Let's hit it.
But I don't know how
there it is. Hype train, baby.
The most reluctant hype train there's been.
This is a mini hype train.
Feels like you're being.
It's a model train.
I think he's going to be like, if he was like my 4th receiver on my fantasy team, I would be like ecstatic.
I feel like, yeah, he's a guy that you
don't want to start.
You don't want to start.
Yeah.
But he's doing well. But you know, deep down in places you don't talk about at parties, that the day you put him in the flex, that's the day that he's going to have a 1.6.
Yeah.
Scoring
no, totally. All right, that'll do it for the inaugural edition of Hype Train because we don't get hyped.
We stay hyped.
All right, the next on the Bullpen, ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5. It'll be time for our big question. We'll get back. This will be a Sean Mapes joint. He'll have a couple of big questions for us when the Bullpen returns. ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5.
This is the Bullpen on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Live from the Veritex Community Bank Studios. Here are the producers of ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Welcome back into the Bullpen, ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5. I got to say, I think the inaugural session of Hype Train was a successful one. We will definitely be bringing that back for the next few weeks. Yeah! Let me talk to you. All right, let me talk to you real quick about Rock the Mic before we get to Sean's big question. The deadline for Rock the Mic is right around the corner. You have until August 2nd to get your entries in. All you have to do to enter is send a 3 to 5 minute video giving your best Houston sports take to rockthemic975@gmail.com. The winner of Rock the Mic will receive a podcast hosted on our ESPN Houston YouTube channel. Whether you already have a podcast or have always wanted to start one, now is your chance. The winner will be announced at our live finale on August 23rd at Carbach Brewery. I believe that'll be with the Killer Bees because we're going an extra hour that night. Get your entries now into rockthemic975@gmail.com. Again, the deadline is August 2nd, so that's coming up. I believe that is Thursday, if my knowledge of the current calendar is correct. So anyway, it's next week regardless.
Tuesday is the trade deadline.
Tuesdays. Yeah, so that checks. All right. Math. Well done, Brian. I'm going to pat myself on the back.
Good job.
But now we move away from Rock the Mic because it is time for our big question of the week. This week provided to us by Mr. Sean Mapes. You can find him on Twitter at Sean and Mapes. Sean, what is the big question this week?
And this is one where you can play along. And I think that this is something a little bit different. Normally we've done more hypothetical type questions, things of that nature. I want to dig a little deeper. I want to know, and I'm just going to give you some conspiracy theories that you can believe in them, you cannot believe them, whether you have your own.
I believe in a few conspiracy theories.
Whether you have your own conspiracy theory or if you accept the given narrative by the big liberal media, you can just let me know so we can go around the horn here.
Or are you fake for yourself?
Exactly. How open is your third eye, actually?
Settle down there, Rogers.
All right, this is very Rogers. By the way.
Actually, sounds like this episode of
calling in right now.
It sounds like this episode of The Big Question is sponsored by the Joe Rogan podcast.
It kind of is. Starting up. The moon landing. Where do you stand?
Ooh, this was actually tested on MythBusters, which I'm not going to explain how they tested it because that's the obvious. Like, how in the world would they test that? But they did. And no, I don't buy that conspiracy. I'm a sheep. I think the moon landing happened.
Cam.
I definitely think it happened.
You don't think it happened in LA? Because that's they think they filmed it in the Hollywood basement, to quote a Red Hot Chili Pepper song.
Thank you, Anthony Kiedis.
You're welcome.
For calling in.
You're welcome.
So Cam, you believe in
you believe in the moon landing?
You believe in everything that the government tells you?
Are you a sheep like me?
My granddad worked for NASA, okay? And so I believe him.
I feel like deep fake is
it runs deep. I feel like I'm gonna get. I feel like Buzz Aldrin's gonna walk in and punch me in the face.
I think he's too old for that.
Now let's go to AJ.
He can't make it all the way in.
Who's with us with Johnny Belmer, but AJ's got something on the moon landing.
Right? I think it happened. I mean, I'm pretty sure I went to Space Center a lot when I was a kid, and then
so did I.
Watched Apollo, all the movies and things of that nature. So I mean, I'm sure the government lies about a lot of stuff, but I mean, I think it happened.
I appreciate how seriously AJ took this question.
Yes, that was a very political answer. I think the moon landing was fake, but they definitely filmed it on a soundstage.
So not the Hollywood basement. I think, Anthony Kiedis told me it was a Hollywood basement.
I think they went to the moon. I think the footage is fake.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
that's where I stand. I don't think they actually took the time to film.
You know, I have wondered because, like, when you see like footage of the moon landing, it seems like the the rover? Is that what it's called? As it's landing, like the camera's already there. Now, where did the camera come from, or is this from a satellite? I'm a dumb man. Or maybe the answer is just from a satellite.
It's like 1960s.
Or maybe do they shoot it down to the moon beforehand?
1968 or 9. Cameras, so they can't like slap a GoPro to the.
Yeah, this is only 6 years after the Zapruder film.
Yeah, so funny you mentioned the Zapruder film.
Is that what's next?
It wasn't next, but I'll take the natural segue.
I got takes on this. I got takes.
Give me your conspiracy theory if you have one for the JFK assassination. Cam, I want to start with you. I want to end with BMAC.
I don't know. He got shot. That's all I have.
Okay. Okay. Lee Harvey Oswald worked alone.
There's no way he worked alone.
Okay.
No, there is no way. I think he's look.
Is he a patsy?
I think
like
he's
you
a
said?
patsy. Yeah. Look,
You believe what Lee Harvey
no Lee Harvey Oswald because I've seen like demonstrations of what he would have had to do to make this shot. One, he was shooting with an Italian rifle, which was known as the American's best friend because it was wildly inaccurate and couldn't hit the same place twice. And he's trying to shoot a moving target from the the sixth floor.
Which, as we've learned from recent events,
yeah,
it's tricky.
It's a little bit tricky. Exactly. He might have hit the podium instead. But so so that's the gun he's dealing with. And also, the amount of time he would have had to go from shooting it to being seen, where he was seen by a worker in that building later. It was like a break room on the first or second floor, in which they told, like the eyewitness report was, he was not out of breath. He couldn't have got from making the shot all the way down to where he was seen not out of breath in the amount of time he would have had to be there. And then you factor on top of that Jack Ruby killing him just like a day later. Why would he do that? To keep him silent.
Friendly to law enforcement.
I'm not saying who's involved. I mean, there's some popular conspiracies with the FBI, maybe the mob. I probably lean towards the FBI, but yeah, I do not buy the Lee Harvey Oswald story whatsoever.
Given narrative. AJ, what you got?
I don't have that much depth to my answer, but I mean, I feel like, I think there is he had some help in terms of like organizing stuff. I mean, like there's some more stuff behind.
I think
it,
at the very least, you can say the
he
CIA
was one part of it.
The CIA or Secret Service allowed it to happen.
I mean, then we haven't even.
They literally paraded them in the middle of the street.
I mean, we haven't even talked about the grassy knoll. I mean, the grassy knoll. People saw smoke coming from it, from a shot, and obviously we're all trying to pin it on Lee Harvey Oswald, who, if you believe the story, was in a 6th floor window in the book depository. And plus, you see, when JFK gets hit, his head goes back into the left, where Lee Harvey Oswald's shooting from. That wouldn't be how you would think the body would react. It wouldn't go back into the left. It'd go more towards the side. So, yeah, the story doesn't add up.
All right, next up, from the moon landing to JFK assassination to something not involved with the government, Michael Jordan was actually suspended for gambling in 1994.
I believe this. I mean, they cover it up by, his dad died. It was kind of, I think, a convenient cover.
Did David Stern kill Michael Jordan's dad?
713. No. But yeah, I do think there's some. I think he probably did lose his passion for basketball. I do believe that he wanted to try baseball because that was his dad's dream. But I also think it benefits the NBA. Is like, go away for a year and a half. Let this gambling thing die down, and then come back and now subject Houston Rockets fans for a lifetime of hearing, well, you didn't win without when Jordan was there. Although they did, though, damn it. In the second title run, Jordan was back, and the Magic knocked him out of the playoffs.
Yeah. Cam, what you got?
I definitely believe it.
Definitely, that he was suspended.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's out there that he had gambling issues.
No doubt.
Like,
that's very, very out there.
Yes, that is not probably the least controversial thing that we've
out
said
there.
this segment.
But I feel like I read something one time where like it extends all the way to like high school for him.
Oh, yeah.
He was a lifelong degenerate. So like if
he
you're
was betting in high school,
I think that's something that I read. Either he was betting in high school or he was betting on high school stuff. But I think it was like he started gambling in high school or like right after that. But yeah, I definitely believe that he got suspended.
We actually have before we get to AJ, we have a tweet or a text from 8664 Ocho weighing in. Apparently Carlos Marcello is responsible for the death of JFK. I don't know who that is.
Okay.
But we have a suspect that we can now investigate between now and the next episode of the Bullpen.
I'll get on that. AJ, what were we talking about? Oh, MJ.
I definitely think there's some validity to it. I mean, he was he's arguably the greatest player of all time, and even back then, you don't want that type of case, that type of gambling, type of allegation to go out. So I think that there's some validity to that. And then just him going to baseball, like you said, his dad died, so just trying to cope with that too in a different way, trying to honor him. I think that he had some gambling stuff they wanted to hide for sure.
AJ, how old are you?
I just turned 22 on Monday.
Just turned 22. Wow.
Well, happy birthday.
Yeah. Happy birthday. B, wow, you're young.
Now you know how I feel. Welcome to the party, pal.
I asked that because now I'm going to ask you about something that happened, or I guess I'm already asking about something that happened 5 years
he asked about JFK from 1963 and the moon landing from 1969.
I swear we will get closer to present time. Do you think the Rockets still would have won those titles if MJ was playing?
Ooh, you're about to trigger me, AJ.
Oh, man.
Please have the
I'm a
right
Rockets
answer.
That's why I specifically did not.
Please
start
have
with
the right answer, AJ.
I'm a Rockets fan. I mean, I feel like because the first one, weren't they like a 8th seed or something like that?
That's
They were
the second one.
that was the
Second one, they were
Second
6th
That's
seed.
right. That's right.
The first title, they were the 2 seed.
That's right. I think they still would have won. I mean, maybe like they could have like won one, maybe lost one, but I think they still would have like won. They could have won 2 potentially. I don't think they would have just
Cam.
Hell yeah, they would have won the
Yeah.
damn
They would have won both.
Yeah.
Are you
Hell
gonna
yeah.
are you gonna
I
drop
think-
some regular season?
I'm just saying, I mean,
numbers?
they matched up well with the Bulls in the regular season. Vernon Maxwell did well in defense on Jordan, and the Bulls. Jordan's even said this himself. They had no one that could cover Akeem. So
Bill Wellington had nothing on him.
Exactly. So I mean, obviously you can't prove definitively in year one what they would have done, but year two, again, I mean, Jordan was back. His team lost to the Magic, who then the Rockets went on to sweep. So yeah, I think it's pretty definitive they've at least gotten one.
Okay. Well, we'll do one more quick one. And this one you don't have to explain very much because I think it's funny if you just don't explain it.
Okay. All right.
Flat Earth.
Sweet God.
Cam?
No.
BMAC?
No.
AJ?
No.
Good answer.
Was that a test? Was the show going to be over?
I just wanted to know.
Wanted to know. No.
Y'all
I'm not Kyrie Irving. I don't believe the Earth is flat.
Hollow Earth?
No, not at
really.
all. No.
Even after seeing Kong X Godzilla?
I was just about to say, are you sure about that?
Especially after seeing Kong X Godzilla.
Right.
I don't know. You
All
can't
right.
put stuff in movies that's not real.
I guess I might do this. I might just do more conspiracy theories later for the big question. But so Belmer or AJ, whoever, next time, can we get a sheep sounder?
Oh, we
can
do
get
need a sheep sound effect. Yeah.
Drop to play for when these people give.
I try to let them know. Too.
Okay.
All right. All right, that'll do it for the big question of the week. Thanks to Sean for taking us down the rabbit hole, opening our third eye and opening our minds to these conspiracies. Up next on the Bullpen, ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5. It's time for the best part of your week in Houston. It is time for Mount Rushmore Plus One. Welcome in, Houston, to the best part of your weekend. It's ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92 time. It's time for the Mount Rushmore Plus right now. Let's get to it. Cam, would you like to go ahead and go first, sir? Do you have your Mount Rushmore Plus one?
I do, and I would love
You
to
ready
go
to
first.
change the sports radio landscape forever?
Absolutely.
Add to this award-winning segment?
Yes.
No pressure. I'm setting you up. It's great. It's the groundbreaking segment. Don't bring it down.
I'll try not to. All right, so I went with what I guess would be considered dad pickup lines.
Okay.
Ones that can either, like, they're so cringy
So this is not dad jokes, but like trying to pick up
dad
women,
pickup
single
lines.
dads.
But like I feel
Okay.
like they're ones that could either go really, really well or they can go really bad. There's no like in between.
High variance.
Now,
Yes.
can I use these pickup lines with my wife, or do I have to
Please.
be single?
No,
okay,
please-
all right,
please do.
all right. I just
Please
I mean,
do.
Please do.
please come back with a report.
Yeah.
You should get some
Hey,
tonight.
just
Yeah,
do one every day for the.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
I'll try one for the next 5 days and let you know which ones worked.
First one is, are you alone? Because you've got my interest.
Oh my god, that took me a second. Oh my god. Are you
that's-
LOAN? Oh
Yeah,
my
that I was
God.
gonna say that's
Oh,
a triple
that's
entendre.
a-
Don't
that's a
ask me
thinker.
how.
That's a
Yeah.
thinker.
Uh,
now you got me thinking about my investments, my 401k.
Yeah.
I can't even think
That-
about what's going on in the bedroom.
I feel like that's what makes it a dad pickup line. Is that
Yeah.
it's very financially
yeah,
literate.
Exactly. Next one is, hey girl, are you a beaver? Because damn.
Oh my god, Cam. No,
I told you.
that
these
one's
could-
not going to work. There's no way that. Like, I would have less respect for my wife if that works. I will say that. Like, if I try that tonight and it works, I'm gonna have to rethink our relationship a little.
Oh
It's like,
my
man, I was like,
God.
your standards a little too low. A little too low.
So you're not going to use that one on her?
I might.
Ah.
I'm just saying.
Just to test it
you
out.
just to test it out. I don't
Okay.
know what I'm dealing with here.
Next one is,
14 years of marriage have been a fraud, apparently.
oh no, don't say that. About
Well, I mean,
yourself.
if she accepts this pickup line,
Well, you know, she could just be thinking it's
all right.
all
Right. Number three.
Are you an orphanage? Because I want to give you kids.
Oh my god.
That is aggressive. I don't even know if that's a dad pickup line. That's just aggressive. That's gonna get you me too. Be careful there,
Yeah,
Cam.
that's wow.
Well, to be honest, the reason why I thought about this one is because
Why did you think about this?
Yeah, are you trying to think about giving someone kids?
no, a
Time's running out, Cam.
an employee at a bar that I have visited made a joke that she wanted me to give her a kid.
Oh, was you sure it was a joke?
I mean, I'm not mad if it wasn't.
Okay,
Oh,
I'm just saying, be careful if you go in. Make sure things haven't been tampered with. That's all I'm saying.
I will not.
Oh, holes poked. You where I'm
Okay.
going? Okay, all right. I'm just making. Are we all on the same
Yes,
wavelength?
yes.
Okay,
This is
all
my
right.
last show.
I know. What back-to-back segments?
Yeah. Got
Um,
JFK assassination to aggressive pickup lines.
all
You
right.
got two more.
Two
Try
more.
not to get us canceled.
Is that a mirror in your pocket? Because I can see myself in your
No,
pants.
I've heard that one. I've
Have
heard
you?
that. Yeah, I've
Have
heard
you
that
used
one.
it?
No,
Ah,
no.
Yeah,
no.
I've also heard of that one.
Yeah, I've heard of that one though.
Last one. If I,
Are you all right?
I'm good.
You gonna get us canceled here?
No.
Oh, no.
If I flip a coin, what are the chances of me getting head?
I thought you said you weren't gonna get us canceled.
That's not what.
I feel like we might even need to dump that. That was dangerous, Cam. Cam.
Put it in reverse, Cam.
Oh.
I actually don't think you can say.
Okay. Hopefully.
What?
I don't know. Well, okay. All right. Well, I mean, it's hilarious, kind of. But whew. All right, Cam. All right.
Let's not repeat it here or otherwise.
Yeah, I know. Some of these are pretty aggressive,
Did he just
Cam.
pull the Law and Order job?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did. Johnny Belmer's on this. Johnny Belmer and AJ are on the
Watch
ball,
out.
man.
We're gonna have.
I
gonna
feel
have
like I have
Ice-T
to.
asking
I
you
feel like I need to
questions.
scroll
Actually,
down.
you know what? I do need to
find-
be careful because I'm pretty sure my mom listens to this. So
Yeah, she's gonna have some questions for you.
I might get a
Sorry, Mom.
strongly
Yeah,
worded
sorry
text
to
later.
Mrs. Smith. Or, man, I'm starting to have a little bit of work. Maybe I should scroll down to like my least controversial list. Following that up, but screw it.
No, controversy.
But screw it. Things I missed about the pandemic. That is my Mount Rushmore +1. Look, pandemic. Not a lot of people liked it. It's a hot take though. I think there were some silver linings.
There's some good.
Yeah, there was some good. Look,
You're gonna both sides this.
I think we got to tell both sides of the stories. Like, I'm look, COVID sucked. Sure, I got it twice. It is what it is. But I think there were some silver linings here. There are things I miss about 2020 in the pandemic.
When I was thinking conspiracy theories to have for the big question,
Oh,
I specifically was like, let's not do COVID.
So that I could go there. I appreciate that.
I didn't mean to leave the door open for you.
All right. So number one thing I miss about COVID in the pandemic from 2020, people washed their hands consistently back then. Now, I don't know. I see it, especially, guys, I dealt with this a lot at Sports Radio 610 when I was there. Guys, if they weren't in the stall, they were just at the urinal, weren't washing their hands. There's a lot of gross people. I don't understand this mindset. I see it all the time. People come into the bathroom after me, and then it doesn't matter where I'm at, and they just walk right out. But during COVID, damn it, not only were they washing their hands, they had the hand sanitizer in the car. Those hands were clean. I didn't have to worry about any contact germs there because people were keeping that crap clean.
Can we do a Mount Rushmore +1 of radio hosts least likely to wash their hands in the city?
I'll tell you off air. There's two names you've heard of that did not wash their hands, and so much so that they were proud of it. They would brag about it.
Do you ever see the people that will actually go to the
One
sink?
of them might be from Baytown.
Go to the sink though, and will get a paper towel and clean their hands.
I've seen
that to me. That's
you know what annoys me?
Not even doing anything.
You know what annoys me the most? And there's a two-pronged thing with this with COVID. One, what you're saying, like people will, I would see sometimes they would run their hands under water, but would not put any soap, and then it's like you didn't do anything. Yeah. And then the other thing, this drove me absolutely bat bleep crazy. People that would wear the mask, but they would pull it down to under their chin to where their mouth and nose were still exposed. Like, why even have it on? Yeah. You're not helping. You're not helping. But anyway, other things I miss about the pandemic. I would say the easy excuse. This is kind of a combo here. The easy excuse out of work / working from home. Like there was a time when I was at the other radio station where I was literally running the station from my underwear in my bed. And you'll remember this from 2020. I mean, you had a cough, the slightest sniffle, they would tell you to stay home for a week.
Yeah.
So yeah, I missed that. Like now, hey, get your ass to work. But in 2020, it's like, no, you stay home. Please stay home. We don't need the
abundance of caution.
Yeah, we don't need the COVID up here. This is probably a selfish one because during this time I worked as a delivery driver for Shipt, and I still do that some on the side when I have a little extra time. But back then during COVID, man, people tipped. They were thankful. I mean, like. Around Christmas, I would get Chick-fil-A gift cards. I would go to houses. They would have like entire gift packets set up like with a sign that said, "Here, please take something. Thank you for your service." They have water bottles and bags of chips out like as the gifts to you. They tip consistently. They tipped well. Now you see the notice like, "Don't ring the doorbell. Just leave it there." And then no tips. We've completely got away from being thankful to our delivery drivers.
A little self-scouting. I think I'm guilty of this.
I mean. They're still doing the same job for you. Yeah. I mean,
you gotta look myself in the mirror.
Yeah, you gotta look yourself in the mirror there.
If I'm in their pants.
All right, number 4 now. This is my number 4, right? Yeah, this is my number 4. I think it is. Well, people wash their hands. No, actually, this is number 4. God, I'm losing track. I'm too hyped about this. Number 4, no traffic. Man, traffic was non-existent during COVID.
Amen.
I could get on the freeway after work. Smooth sailing all the way home. No, especially coming down 59 here, where you go 59 back towards where I live from Kingwood. When you get to that part where it splits off at 288 and then 45, that place is busy 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but not during COVID. Last thing I miss about COVID in the 2020 pandemic, the Tiger King. Man, there was a time when we were stuck at home, we had nothing to do, and then we got introduced to the world of Carol Baskin. That B word, Carol Baskin, and all she did to the Tiger King and all the trials and tribulations of running a janky little quote unquote zoo with tigers that may or may not have attacked half the staff there. I miss the world of the Tiger King.
That is true.
Yeah.
That was a great time.
Don't think about it much.
Yeah.
Simpler times.
All
right. Time for me?
Yep. Main event mates.
All right. BMAC, this is something we talked about off the air earlier this week. I wonder if you remember this conversation, but it was Mount Rushmore +1 of actresses over 50. Just really appreciate the work.
Yeah, to bring everyone behind the behind the curtain.
Not too far behind.
Well, anyway, there's a couple names that are going to come up, and Sean was like, "You should do this for Mount Rushmore +1." It's like, I mean, I'm 40. I'm too close to the. I'm too close to the age of these women. It'd be funnier if you, as a 28-year-old, did this list. So,
and here we are.
Here we are.
This list. The reason for the season. One, Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah, that thirst trap the other day when
Great
she hit
actress.
55. Great actress. Yes.
Next up, Selma Hayek.
Another one.
It's great. Yeah, that video I sent you.
Co-reason for the season.
That video I sent you of her being a great actress is pretty special.
Great, fantastic actress.
Fantastic actress.
Sandra Bullock.
Oh, yeah, I would.
Good actress.
Good actress. Well, sneaky. She's sneaky pretty good actress. Yeah.
I would take her out.
That's it. That's the end of the
I like Speed.
A nice seafood dinner.
I like
we can hang
Speed, Gravity. All the one-word movies.
Yeah.
Don't love the Blind Side.
Yeah.
Wouldn't bring that up.
No.
Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah.
Great actress.
Great actress. Yeah.
Friends.
Yeah.
Some Sandler movies.
She's in Office Space, my favorite movie ever.
Yes.
Yeah. Great actress.
And then
Cam's getting close. You're trying to verify if they're great actresses, Cam? Is that what you're trying to do?
He's looking at my research. He's looking at my research. That's what he's doing. And last, certainly not least, the Catwoman herself, Halle Berry.
Oh, yes. There's
another good social media follow. Great actress.
She is a great actress in a movie called Swordfish. Do you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about?
I'll say I've never seen the movie, but I think I know what you're talking about.
There's at least about a 5-second scene that's worth checking out. I'm saying she's great acting when she has a newspaper and then drops the newspaper.
You have to throw in Sofia Vergara.
Oh yeah, she's a great actress.
Yes.
Yeah,
amazing actress.
Amazing actress. Yeah, that's a good point. From the text line quickly before we go to break from 7560, adding on to my Mount Rushmore plus one of things I miss about the pandemic. I miss people keeping their distance so you didn't have to smell them.
True.
This makes me question where the listeners hanging out. You're consistently hanging out in places where there's smelly people around constantly.
Nothing you can do.
I mean, I guess pick a different place to hang out. All right, we got one more segment left on the bullpen this week. We will end it as we always do with the worst people in sports this week and what we love from sports this week. That will happen next when the bullpen returns on ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5.
You're back inside the bullpen with the producers of ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Welcome back in. Final segment today on the Bullpen, ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5. Been a lot of fun kicking it around, even though the last few segments really put our future here on the Bullpen in jeopardy. I mean, especially Cam over there with his Mount Rushmore +1. Maybe Sean over here bringing up conspiracy theories might get to see it. If we have the FBI in the CIA knocking at our door, I'll have Sean to thank for that. But we're going to finish the show this week as we do every week in the few minutes we have remaining. We will be on next week. Quick programming note. I know we've been a little inconsistent because NCAA Football 25 came out and Sean and I had dynasties to build. Cam didn't know about that. That was our bad.
Sure didn't.
Cam showed up to the studio. Our bad on that, Cam.
It's all good. I ran some errands.
But let's go ahead and finish the show right now with our worst people in sports this week. Sean, who's your worst person in sports this week?
Worst person in sports this week is director of racing for Red Bull F1, Helmut Marko, for banning Max Verstappen, probably future champion and former champion, from late night sim racing, because Max Verstappen last week got in a little bit of hot water for some of his radio messages back and forth. He was being a real B word to his team.
He doesn't realize that people can hear this?
He realizes it.
Oh, he just doesn't care.
Had no problem. He ended up crashing, and people point to the fact that he was up at 3 a.m. streaming himself doing simulation races on video games. And so after the race, Helmut Marko, again, one of the directors there at Red Bull Racing, banned him from late night racing.
Wow, that's. I mean, it's kind of feels like the what was it, the homework assignment clause that Kyler Murray got in his contract?
Yes.
Is that what's happening here?
As someone whose late night video game habits, especially recently, might have maybe affecting my work.
Has it affected your work here?
I just don't like the precedent that this sets.
I know. Right? I just be
dangerous
careful.
waters.
Be careful.
Helmut
Just
Marko.
don't make sure you talk back to Joe and Paul in a very respectful, professional way.
I will.
Yeah. All right. Well, just keep it clean there. All right. My worst person in sports this week, and we'll have a drop to play after this. I mean, Sean, I know you've been following this saga, this storyline with the bloodline. The bloodline.
Hate it.
The bloodline. These people. You can't trust them. And now they are the #1 contender for the tag team championships. I am really worried about the future of the WWE.
What happened to
with
the game I love?
as Paul Heyman's about to tell us now, these people invading and getting high positions in WWE. What would Paul Heyman say about them, Johnny?
They're not even people. They're just bloodthirsty, sadistic thugs.
Bloodthirsty, sadistic thugs are now the #1 contender for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. I am sickened by this. I am concerned for the safety and health of everyone involved in the WWE. I mean, guys, be careful this
I hate what Solo's done.
Yeah, Roman Reigns can't come back fast enough. Cam, who's your worst person in sports this week?
My worst person in sports is a collective group, and it's the group that decided that they were going to rush the Copa Stadium and climb through the AC vents because they didn't buy tickets in time.
Yeah, that wasn't great.
Have we not learned what happens when stuff like that happens at stadiums?
I thought you were going with the thing that happened even more recently in soccer, where was it Morocco and Argentina, where the fans were rushing the field, throwing bottles at the players, setting up fireworks right behind the bench. Yeah. That was at the Olympics.
Just a party.
Yeah.
Well, Cam Smith condoning violence over here.
If it's fireworks, it's just a party.
Big business Cam Smith is mad when the people, the hardworking blue collar people, try to get a ticket for free, but he's okay with violence.
Cam's like, what about Ticketmaster?
Yeah,
Won't someone please think about Ticketmaster?
Cam, Live Nation Smith over here is very concerned about big business, but doesn't care about violence against these players, or they're trying to play this sport on the Olympic stage, a celebration of our unity and our freedom. Cam.
I missed that. I missed that match. I can't. I don't know.
All right.
Not even one of the top 10 most controversial things said this segment. This
hour for sure. We got a lot of competition for that. Jameson Williams. All right, it's time to stop swimming with the anger sharks and go ahead and backstroke over to the Sea of Tranquility and talk about the things we love from sports this week. Sean, what did you love from sports this week?
I loved part of the Olympics. One of the good things of the Olympics is that there will be a camera near Anthony Edwards for the next 2.5 weeks or however long the basketball goes. And he was hanging out during the opening ceremony with the USA table tennis team. where he said this.
And what, ping pong? I got some people talking about they're going to beat me in ping pong 21-0.
The Olympic team.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I'm not having it. 11-0. I'm scoring 1 point. 1 point. I'm scoring. What? Okay. How? When we going to do that? Whenever.
I like Anthony Edwards thinking, hey, I'll at least get 1 point off the Olympic team.
I love that Anthony Edwards wants that smoke.
He's also he's calling it ping pong, and Steph Curry's like, it's not called ping pong.
And I love that he's sticking. He's like, I don't care what they call it. I'm calling it ping pong, and I want that smoke. Let's go. I hope they set up a live stream of this. I need to see this.
I want a live stream of Anthony Edwards trying every single Olympic sport.
Yeah, I think Cam said there was 34 Olympic sports.
32.
32. Like, I want to see Anthony Edwards do what I was watching this morning. The canoe and the kayak slalom.
I want to see him fencing.
Yes,
I want to see him
all of it.
Floor routine,
skateboarding, all of it.
Pommel horse,
trampoline gymnastics.
No, I'll pass on that one. No,
I don't think he needs a trampoline.
Exactly. That's too close to what he already does. That's too close to what he already does. Yeah, and there's the safety concerns too. All right, what I love from the sports this week was Dominic Mysterio finally ending this. Would he, won't they, with Liv Morgan, and standing up to her and finally letting his true feelings being known about Liv Morgan so he can return to mommy Rhea Ripley.
Because I think I know what you're gonna say, and
I know
I feel the exact same way too. So you can finally just say those 3 little words.
You want those 3 little words?
Please.
I hate you, Liv. Yeah! Are you stupid? Are you deaf? No entiendes lo que te estoy diciendo, cabrona. I don't like you. You've ruined my life over and over again.
I'm finally, it's about time. Dominic has been soft on this issue. He hasn't had a backbone. He keeps letting Liv Morgan infiltrate his life, ruin the Judgment Day, get in between him and Rhea Ripley, but he finally put his foot down and told Liv Morgan what he thinks of her. Congratulations, Dominic.
Better man than me. I'll leave it at that.
Well, I will say you did a Mount Rushmore of most talented actresses. Liv's not over 55, but
talented wrestler.
Talented wrestler, yes. Cam, what'd you love from sports this week?
Snoop Dogg carrying the torch for the Olympics.
That was good.
He really lit it up.
Really?
No one better with the torch.
I mean, obviously the memes have been flowing with replacing the Olympic torch with the blunt. I mean, I'm sure we've all seen those at this point. So, all right, that'll do it for the bullpen this week. For Sean Mapes, for Cam Smith, I am Brian McDonald. Thanks to AJ and John Belmer behind the glass for keeping things on the tracks, if you will, the hype train tracks, hitting all those drops and not running away from the studio when things got a little controversial on the segments that followed after that.
Sorry, AJ.
Sorry, AJ. Your first week on the show, and we're talking about JFK conspiracies, and Sean's trying to get us canceled with his pickup lines. But again, that'll do it for this week of the bullpen. We'll be back next week. Don't go anywhere. Have a great weekend, Houston.